back to the one Celtic fans view this evening. I'm currently just watching the last couple of minutes of Cadet's game, and it is 0-0, but it's been a not bad game because I've been watching teams that will play for two, and they won't sit back for the whole game, which is always good. It's always good to see teams play football. All right, let me just turn this right up. There we go. Fine. So, how is all doing this evening? Have we got over? Have we got over yesterday's game? Of course not. I'm going to talk about Celtic, and there's 27 people on. We'll see if a bit more people comes on. Wait a minute to share the video. Share. I believe in a thing called share. Share the video. 2 seconds. I'll just share it onto YouTube just to get so and onto that. Right. Let me just turn the Cadets game down. I'm going to talk about Celtic. And I'm going to talk about. I've named the video that Celtic aren't doing that bad. Celtic aren't doing that bad. And keep with me with this one. And thank you, everyone that subscribed. We're getting near the target of 15,000 before. Keel Goal said he was at the game yesterday. I didn't get up too much. Did not. But enjoyed the performance expected. Hail from Arbroath, says Neil. Stephen says, hail Baz and the troops. We're all good. And a special shout out goes to Stephen Cassidy. Also, coming in from Germany. And Kenny McArdle, big shout out to you. Yo Kaiser, if you're still about. Northampton Tim is about. And Paul is there also. Michael Ross has just entered the building. He has just entered the building. Right. The year is 2024, and over the last 20 years, Celtic have been pretty much dominant in the league. So what I wanted to do with this video, I wanted to do a bit of a reality check on where we are to where we've came from. And I'm going to go back 24 years to the year 2000. And then I'm going to go back even further. I'm going to go back 24 years. And I'm going to go back to 1970s, right? And we're going to go back 24 years to just show how far that we've came as a club. Now, I'll go back to the 1978 season. The 1977-1978 season, Celtic finished fifth in the league. Finished fifth in the league. We got to the European Cup second round. 1978-79, we won the league. 1978, 1980, we were second in the league. 1980 to 1981, we won the league. 1981, 1982, we won the league. And then starts a bit of a barren spell for Celtic. 1982 to 1983 season, we were second. 1983 to 1984, we were second. 1984-85 season, we were second. And then finally, back in 1985-86 season, summer of 86. Yes, can you remember it? Probably not a lot of years, but we won the league. And if you can tell me in the comments, because it was a pretty spectacular league win back in 1986. In fact, it was a fantastic league win. So if you can tell me what happened in 1986 what happened back in 1986 when Celtic won the league? So come on, tell me in the comments what happened back in 1986. Come on, get the comments coming in. A text down the round said Rodgers left the country yesterday after the game. We've not got a game. He maybe left the country. Maybe went over to Spain, his holiday home, for a couple of days. They do that. We beat Hearts. Yes, Graham Hardy's straight in. We did. We broke Hearts. We beat Hearts to the title. We beat Hearts to the title that year. And it was fantastic. And that was back in 1986. We won the league. And then back in 86-87, we were second. And then we get to the centenary year. It was a fantastic year. 1988. What an absolute fantastic summer that was. It was one of the best summers of my life. And it all started off just as I left high school. We beat Dundee United to win the Scottish Cup. We beat Dundee United, we done the double, and we were champions. We were champions back in 1988. And then that was it. We kind of went through a really bad spell as Celtic fans. And you won't believe what happened in the positions that we were in. To younger fans that are maybe watching this, they maybe don't know the history because they maybe don't look far that back. They maybe don't look past the Martin O'Neill era. But in 1989, we were third in the league. We finished third in the league. And then in 1990, we finished fifth in the league. Darius Dewotski, fifth in the league. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine if social media had been around in those days? Could you imagine if social media had been around in 1990 and Celtic finished fifth in the league? Could you imagine the meltdown? Could you imagine what today's fans would be like? And then in 1991, we finished third in the league. We were a bit better. And in 92, we were third in the league again. 93, we were third in the league. 94, the turmoil was starting to begin at Celtic in 1993-94 season. Turmoil was starting to develop at Celtic Park. There was then talk of us moving to Cumbus Lang, to moving stadiums. And we were fourth in the league. We finished fourth in the league that season. And then we get to the 94-95 season, and things weren't getting any better. We finished fourth in the league that season again. So it's a case of putting things into perspective over that period so far. That period where Celtic were absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. Let's face it. We didn't know where we were going as a club. We didn't know where we were going as a club. And keep with me this, because this is going, we're going to look at the current 24-year period from 2000. I'm basically looking backwards and I'm going through these. And yes, they did cheat their way to 9 in a row, but Celtic were absolutely terrible back then. They were absolutely terrible. So then comes in 1995-96 season, and Mr. Fergus McCann had bought over Celtic by this time. And he come in and he paid off the debt before he owned any shares. Fergus paid off the money. The likes of Michael Kelly got paid £180,000 for his shares in Celtic that were handed down to him through his family. He got £180,000 for walking away from Celtic as a family owned business. And that's only some of the shares. That's only the money. That's only the ones I could confirm. And that's confirmed from Michael Kelly himself. He did confirm that to me. In 1996, we finished second in the league. We're getting a bit better. We were managing to close the gap a bit. Tommy Burns had come in. 1996-97, we were second in the league again. And then we also had George Cadetti, we had Pierre Van Hooydonk, and it was a pretty spectacular time at Celtic. But we were still second in the league, and Fergus McCann wanted us to win the league. He thought we should be winning the league, especially with the three amigos that came into the club. And then there was turmoil that summer again. That summer, Fergus McCann decided to sack Tommy Burns, and the fans didn't like it. The fans enjoyed the way that Tommy Burns' team played. It was fantastic football. It was fast attacking pace football. It was the amount of goals that we scored in the 90th minute was unbelievable. The amount of late goals that Celtic would score, unbelievable back in those days. But it wasn't good enough for Fergus McCann. We didn't get there. We didn't win the league. And that wasn't acceptable to him. So he sacked Tommy Burns. And in comes a little Dutchman called Wim Jansen, and the media at the time made fun of Celtic, bringing in this guy with this big bushy hair and a funny name, as they do in Scottish media. And Wim Jansen says, "Hold my pint, lads," and brings in a player called Henrik Larsson. That day that Henrik Larsson, oh, Henrik Larsson, that day when he passes the ball and he hits it to Chick Charnley, the Hibs player. He hits it to Chick Charnley, and Chick Charnley basically just laid it on a plate and scored for Hibs. Sets up a goal. Anyway, Oh, we missed Dr. Joe Venglos. Yeah, we missed Dr. Joe Venglos. Sorry. We missed Dr. Joe Venglos. Anyway, we missed Joe Venglos. How could I do that? But that's what you're doing today. They were bad times. Remember the yes, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to put things into perspective by going back 24 years. Over the last 24 years, just stick with me this because it does get better. So the 24 years before then was there was a lot of turmoil through Celtic, and finishing third, finishing fourth, finishing fifth in the league is something that is not really spoke about today. Up comes 2000, up comes 2000, and walks Martin O'Neill, and then things change. We win the league. 2000, the 1999-2000 season we were second, but then there's a wind of change takes place in Scottish football. Martin O'Neill walks in through the door, and we win the league with 97 points. The next season, 2001-2002, we win the league again with 103 points. 2003, we managed to get 97 points, and we lose the league. We lose the league on 97 points, but we also get to Seville. We're also runners up in Seville. And then the 2003-2004 season, we win the league. And then 2005, we lose the league. We're second. But then 2005-2006, we win the league again. And then 2007, we win the league. 2008, we win the league. And then we go through a little strange patch. 2009, we were second. 2010, we were second. 2011, we were second. They thought they were going to go on a run again. But Celtic in 2011, 2012, win the league. Gary Hooper's the top goal scorer for Celtic. And anyone, absolutely anyone had said that what happened back in 2011-2012 season would set us on a journey. To set us on a journey that Celtic hadn't been on since the 1960s. And to become a period of domination. We swept aside everyone that was in front of us the next season. We got to 99 points. 99 points. Chris Commons was the top goal scorer. The next season, we get 92 points. And Lee Griffiths is the top goal scorer. Lee Griffiths is top goal scorer 2 seasons in a row. He scores 40 odd goals the next season. 2015-2016 season, we're first. And then, as Ronnie Dyler leaves and in comes Brendan Rodgers, we then go on a fantastic run where we win the treble in the 2016-2017 season. And we got 106 points. We got 106 points, which was more points than what Martin O'Neill's team got. It was 3 more. They wanted to set records. Celtic sat down as a team. And the manager before that season and said, right, what is all the benchmarks? Martin O'Neill's obviously was the highest goal scorer and as many goals, and they wanted to beat that. They wanted to win everything, and they won the treble. And in 2018, they won the treble again. Hadn't been done since Martin O'Neill's era. And before that, it was a long time since Celtic had won a treble. Very long time. We're talking about 1974, 1975. 1974, 1975 was the last time before that Celtic had won a treble. So you go through all those years, and then you get to the 2000s, and Celtic have begun this period of domination. And by that time, we've won 3 trebles. And then we get to the 2019-2020 season, and we're in another treble. It was absolutely fantastic as fans. And we're in some kind of weird... Do you know, it's just like we own Scottish football. We own Scottish football. Nothing can go wrong. And then in 2020, 2021, as we're going for 10 in a row, I always said, I can remember saying back in 2015, 2016, when I run the bus, and I was like, it's going to be hard to do the 10. We'll do the 9. I was confident back then. Before the manager came in, before Brendan came in, I was confident that Celtic would do the 9. Really confident. We had a feeling when you went to games, you just knew that we were on a journey. Celtic fans knew that we knew we were on a journey. When you were going home and away and you're going to games in Europe, you knew you were on this journey to get to that 9. We knew we were going to do it. We knew. We just knew. We knew it. But people didn't know that Brendan wasn't going to be here for the 9. And anyway, we lost the 10. And then there was a wind of change. So for the last 24 years, we've pretty much dominated Scottish football. We have pretty much dominated Scottish football. And when Ange Postecoglou came in and took over from the mess that was left from it was the hangover. The 2020 season and 2021 was the hangover of the mismanagement by the board, in my opinion, to everything was aimed for the 9. Everything was aimed for the 9. Everything was aimed for the 10. There was a load of players that were going to be out of contract after the 9th season. There was a lot of players that thought they'd done their thing for Celtic. They'd been at Celtic a long time and they thought, let's do the 9 and go down in the history books. Go down in the history books as the second team. The second team in Scottish football to do it for Celtic. The first team to do it twice. To do 2 9 in a row. That will never be done again. There'll not be another team in Scottish football. And I'll say this today, there will never be another team in Scottish football that will do 2 9 in a row. Never. Absolutely never. What Celtic have done has been absolutely phenomenal over the last 24 years. And we have to put things into perspective. When the one and only Ange walked through the door, he set himself goals, and we won the league with 93 points. We won the league with 93 points. And that was it. We'd done the double that year, which was good. It was a good start. But it was a good start. And then we go into the 22-23 season and we think we're pretty much unstoppable again. We think everything's back. We've got all these new Japanese players that are absolutely on fire and love being at Celtic. We've got a manager who absolutely loves Celtic, loves the fans. We thought. And we go on a run. We go on another fantastic run, and we win the league with 99 points. He doesn't manage to beat any of the records that were set by previous managers. He even had the one and only Martin O'Neill ask him live on television after the Scottish Cup final, please don't go. Please don't go. And I love you so. And then Ange turned around on the telly. Ange Postecoglou turned around on the telly and said, listen, you're asking me about these. He said, the fact is, some of these players won't be here next season. So let us just enjoy the moment. Let us enjoy the moment. Let us enjoy the moment. And I think that's something that we've not been doing. I think the pressure that's been put on the Celtic players just now is something that I don't think that is deserved, really. We're top of the league, and albeit by 2 points if they win their game in hand, we're top of the league. We've still got things in our hands. We had a bad start to this season. The cup game came a bit quick for us. The new manager came in, and there was a lot of players forced. Well, they couldn't say they were forced upon him because at the end of the day, he's got to sign off that the players are coming in. And yes, Brown Warrior, you're right. Don't get too attached to your heroes, Ange Postecoglou said. Don't get too attached to your heroes. Don't get too attached. I was singing that in the jail in the Scottish Cup final. No more from front section. But this video has really all been about the fact that Celtic aren't in too bad a place. They're not in too bad a place just now, and I think fans that when you win a game and you show disconcerting voices. Some people were saying, I noticed on Celtic TV that said there were people booing, and they heard people booing us win. We won, and people booed. It's never nice to see. It's never nice, but it is what it is. This season This season is bigger than 10 in a row because of the money involved in getting to the new Champions League. Rangers winning it levels up Scottish football for the next 10 years. We will still win the league. We will still win the league. I'm pretty confident of that. It would take a monumental collapse of Celtic. And if we do not win the league this season, I think the board have to look at themselves. The board have to look at themselves. Peter Lawwell has to look at himself and ask what went wrong this season. As Celtic fans, we all know exactly what we needed for the last couple of seasons. For about a year and a half now, we've all been saying, get us a striker. You know, the grumpy Greek left over a year ago, and it's not been good enough. He left because he wanted more game time. I think we will still win the league. I'm pretty confident that we'll still allow the league. But let's just put things into perspective. And I hope you, the ones that have watched from the beginning, have enjoyed this video, because let's face it, we have had a not bad 24 years so far. When you look back, the 24 years before 2000, it wasn't pretty watching a lot of the time. You know, we've been pretty lucky to see football after Christmas, European football after Christmas, which we've never seen a lot of in the 80s. Anyway, let's see if there's any Celtic news out there. Now that we've done that, now we've had a bit of a reality check and we went back over 50 years of Celtic. And the reason that we've done that, it is 2024, and I thought I would go back the 24 years before the 2000s, just to give us a little wake up call. I mean, finishing. I mean, you can go back to 1960 where we finished ninth in the league. There was one time we finished ninth in the league. But I decided not to go back that far. I decided to go back to the late 70s. Late 70s. I wanted to get away from the original 9 in a row run and then see how we were placed pretty much after that. And after the original 9 in a row run, we were really bad. And that's where I'm trying to put things into perspective. We're 3 seasons after the 9 in a row. We're 3 seasons after the 9 in a row. And then when you look at the 3 seasons after the 9 in a row, the fourth season, we finished fifth in the league. So let's put things into perspective. You know, people that grew up in the 60s and seen that fantastic Celtic side, they went for the highs of winning the European Cup, the highs of getting to the later stages of Europe consistently, and then to watch their team finish fifth in the league. Must have been pretty devastating for those fans, and there's a lot of fans that are still alive that watched Celtic at that time. So I think it's all about putting things into perspective. The last 24 years haven't been that bad as a Celtic fan. They've been pretty bloody damn good. Anyway, the green edition of Red Bull is available. Right, let's get that out of the way. Let's get back to some Celtic news and the comment section. Um, uh, let's get to the song. Mavovsky, if any two of them sign. Anyone seen Newport goal against Manchester? Nope, never seen that. Can you also remember 3-2 to Dundee after being 2-0 up inside 10 minutes? No. Yes. Yes. Aye, they were back in the days. Anyway, if they didn't have Beale as manager at the start of the season, they'd have been miles ahead of us. Stop talking about them. The 90s and 80s were my years, says Jeffrey. Yep, I was brought up with Celtic sure in the late 70s, the 80s, the 90s. They were hard times. Anyway, right, let's jump off this and get on to some Celtic news and see if there is any news kicking around this evening. I hope you liked that little video. I think it was a little bit different, a bit of putting things into perspective, just to see that the last 24 years hasn't been that bad, and maybe we've been a little bit spoilt considering you see what happened before then. Late Celtic deal for prolific striker is now on the cards. Here we go. Just try to cut. There's a lot of noise about the Sydney Van Hooijdonk one. I'm still not too convinced about this. You're bringing in a player. Who would you rather bring in, right? Would you rather bring in a player that's unproven? My first trophy was 1985. Proven in McGarvey. What a team that was. What a team that was. Jeffrey says the social media drives the negativity. Yes, it does. Kieran, we're almost signed a left back in the summer. Quilton Merlin. Saying born in 77. Good to bad. Obviously, my team win, lose, and draw. Yeah, I was born 4 or 5 years before you. James, so I seen some fantastic Celtic at the end of the 70s. Said I grew up in the 80s, said Kaiser in 90s here in Ibrox. I was one of the only Celtic fans here. Load up for their dominant force, no mercy. Anyway, being 71 years young, he knew Big Jock's team, says Michael, had plenty of games like Saturday. Um, but remember, being the team booed, but can't remember the team being booed off the pitch. That's Michael McDonald, and he's 71 years old. He's been to many games, but can't remember the team being booed off the pitch. I think it is such a modern thing. It is such a modern thing. And what stadium is that? I tell you one thing, I do. Is that Valencia? Atletico. That's Atletico. Sevilla, definitely. I'm not going to watch the Atletico game later. Anyway, right, back to yeah, not even going to say that. We have patched up defence on both occasions. Hopefully, Bendon is out the country to do some good business. I think if he's out the country, that means that he's probably buggered off to Spain to get some sun this weekend whilst it's warm. And anyway, anyway, anywho, let's see if there's some Celtic news. There's not much Celtic news coming about. It's all about Big Van Hooijdonk, Gustav Lagerbelke. Let me see what this one is. Lagerbelke. Sutton explains why Celtic has changed position. Celtic, Hoy's got Mikey Johnson. Mikey Johnson. Surely Mikey Johnson's not going to go get sold. Kun. Nah, it's all about the Bologna striker. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't think if he's maybe Brendan Rodgers has went over to Italy to speak to the Bologna striker in person. No chance on Sydney coming as well. I'll talk to get him a move. Yeah, I can't see it. Rodgers wants player with a winning mentality. Yeah, that's true. Right, let's get some of the comments in. Paul Baird says, even though we are top of the league, the performance at home games have been far from good enough. Paul, go back and read one of the comments from where is it? From Michael McDonald. Michael says, has been 71 years young. He watched Big Jock's team and had plenty of games like Saturday, but he can't remember the team being booed off the pitch. He's flown over to tell his pal Lowell's a ah dear. Van Hooijdonk doesn't impress me at all. He doesn't impress me either. The fact that his attitude is absolutely stinking, but you never know. That's the type of thing that Celtic will play. I've got my reservations about Van Hooijdonk. Already he's caused a lot of friction in Bologna. Patrick, he has caused a lot of friction in Bologna. He's not played for the first team once this season. I think he was brought back into the squad. He was training by himself. They wanted rid of him. They wanted rid of him last summer, but they never had any takers. So anyway, is that the type of player that you want in at Celtic? To me, I don't want that type of player in. Definitely not. Anyway, that is enough for tonight. I'm going to go and get ready to watch this game. Atletico Madrid versus Valencia. That's going to be a good one. And it is at the Athletic Stadium. So yeah, I am going to get ready to watch that. I'd rather play Yep. Van Houding's boy. Patrick says the fun of Pierre slapped in a transfer request. Just remember, uh, yes, Pierre done the exact same. It's in his DNA. His dad did the exact same. John is in. He says transfer window could open up for another month, and we still wouldn't signed anyone. Yes, yes. Pierre mucked up our season in 96, 97. He did that. And Liverpool were also on the day. Jeff, who cares? Anyway, on that note, that's me done and dusted for this evening. Just a quick one before I go out, and I'm not going out, I'm going to go and watch this game of football because Valencia versus Atletico Madrid is going to be an absolute cracker. So, on that note, have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans all around the world.